History often picks and chooses the stories it tells. Some events are remembered, others are hidden, buried deep, almost forgotten. But tonight, we bring one of those forgotten stories into the light. The story of the Herero and Nama genocide. It was one of the first genocides of the 20th century. Thousands of men, women, and children were killed. Entire families were wiped out. Yet, many have never heard of it. It happened in Africa, in a place called Namibia, and for over a century, the world stayed silent. Long before foreign flags flew over Namibia, this land was home to proud people. The Herero and the Nama. The Herero were skilled cattle herders. Their cattle weren't just food, they were wealth, status, and tradition. The Nama were sharp traders and strong warriors, known for their resilience and deep connection to the land. For generations they lived freely, working with the land and building their communities. But then came the Colonial era, a time when European powers divided Africa like a pie without inviting Africans to the table. In 1884, Germany claimed Namibia as their colony. They called it German Southwest Africa. At first, the Germans came with promises, trade, roads, and prosperity. But soon, the truth became clear. These promises were traps. German settlers took land, stole cattle, and forced the Herero and Nama into poverty. When peaceful talks failed, the Herero and Nama had only one choice left: resistance. In 1904, the Herero, led by Chief Samuel Maharero, rose up. They attacked German farms and tried to reclaim their land. The Nama soon followed, under the leadership of Chief Hendrik Witbooi, a fearless warrior who refused to bow to foreign rule. For a short time they pushed the Germans back, but Germany wasn't going to be humiliated. They sent reinforcements and a man who would bring death with him, General Lothar von Trotha. Von Trotha wasn't interested in peace. He didn't see the Herero and Nama as people. To him, they were a problem that needed to be erased. In October 1904, he issued the extermination order. It was simple and brutal. Every Herero found inside German borders, armed or unarmed, will be shot. No mercy, no exceptions. The Herero fled into the desert. Thousands of men, women, and children chased by German forces. But the desert was unforgiving. The Germans poisoned water holes and blocked escape routes. Under the blistering sun, people collapsed from thirst and hunger. Survivors told of mothers carrying lifeless children in their arms, refusing to let go. They spoke of hearing cries for water, until the voices faded away. The Nama saw the fate of the Herero and knew what was coming, but they chose to fight anyway. Using guerrilla tactics, quick surprise attacks, they resisted as long as they could. But they too were eventually overwhelmed. Those who were captured faced something worse than death: life in German-run concentration camps. One of the deadliest was Shark Island. Prisoners there were starved, beaten, and forced into hard labor. Many died from disease and hunger. Women were abused. Children wasted away. Even in death, the cruelty didn't stop. The skulls of victims were sent to Germany for so-called scientific research. Part of racist studies meant to prove white superiority. It wasn't just murder. It was the erasure of humanity. By 1908, the killing slowed, but the damage was irreversible. Over 80% of the Herero were dead. Half of the Nama were gone. Entire family lines erased. Germany faced no punishment, no trials, no reparations, and for decades, the world barely spoke of what had happened. But the Herero and Nama, they never forgot. Every year they gathered to remember their ancestors, to honor the lost, and make sure their stories live on. In 2004, Germany finally acknowledged the genocide. But apologies can't bring back the dead. They can't return the stolen land or heal the deep scars left behind. Why do we tell this story? Because history isn't just about dates and names, it's about people, real people whose lives mattered. And when we ignore stories like these, we risk repeating them. The deserts of Namibia still carry the echoes of the Herero and Nama. And tonight, so do we. Subscribe for more untold horrors. Some stories should never be forgotten.